Cool, great.
Do I holding my camera as well?
You can do whatever you want, mate. Yeah.
Shit, this is weird. Am I looking at the camera?
Yeah.
Just got to psych myself. Hello, my name is Luke Chambers. I'm a macro photographer from Sheffield, currently living in Oxford, and this is In the Field with Jamie Hall.
Hello and welcome to In the Field. For those who don't know me, my name is Jamie Hall and I'm a photographer and filmmaker from Hampshire in the UK. I first came up with the idea for this project about a year ago when I really started to connect with photographers from all over the world on social media. Now, I love shooting wildlife, but I do really enjoy shooting people. So the idea was to kind of fuse these two things together and not only celebrate the wildlife, but the guys who are out there capturing and sharing these beautiful images for us. A lot of this is about conservation, something that I'm really passionate about. We have some truly amazing wildlife out there living right under our noses, both great and small, and they live in some stunning habitats and ecosystems. I think it's really important that we preserve that, as well as the biodiversity, not only in the UK, but all over the world. For me, these photographers have a huge part to play in inspiring love and care for our local wildlife in our local communities. It's my hope that this can serve as a bit of a platform to appreciate them and the work they do, as well as the wildlife itself. I'm also hoping to offer some tips and tricks to any aspiring photographers or for any photographers who are hoping to try out a new area of photography. In this week's episode, I have the genuine privilege of being joined by Luke Chambers, an award-winning macro photographer from the UK. Luke's work last year was of huge inspiration to me and definitely was a big part in me picking up the macro lens for myself. I hope you enjoy these episodes and thanks for tuning in. So the first thing I want to do is just talk about gear.
Yeah.
I don't know about you, but I get a lot of messages talking about what gear you use to get some of the shots.
Absolutely.
And Luke's a really good example of a misconception about having really great high-end gear in order to get shots.
Yeah.
Luke gets amazing shots, and you've not changed your gear since you first got it.
No, I've had this camera for this entire setup, apart from the diffuser, for about 3 years, and I haven't changed a single thing.
So what camera are you
it's a
with?
Nikon D5600, which now I think is only about 250 quid, £300 or something like that.
Yeah, pretty entry level.
Yeah, it's definitely classed as an entry-level camera. And then the Sigma 105, I think it is the latest one. It's like DG Macro, HSM, whatever.
You can see it's nice and shiny because it's had a few
Yeah.
Mine's still relatively new.
You've got nice matte
You've got a little bit of matte on it.
Mine's just, very worn. But yep, same lens I've always used. And then the Raynox 250, which most people are familiar with, I think.
Yeah.
Like this basically what I have is a very standard kit.
Yeah.
The 105 and a Raynox.
Yeah.
A lot of people use it.
Raynox DCR 250, little diopter lens that goes in the front, gets you some extra magnification.
Yeah. So it takes mine from a 1:1 to a 2.3 if I want it.
And when I first met you, you said you never take it off.
If I take it off, the photos look terrible to me.
Okay.
I basically never take it off. Yeah.
Excellent.
And I use a little step-down ring because this is my second Raynox. So I did lie. This is not the original kit. This is my second Raynox because my first one I dropped into a pond. trying to photograph water striders, and that little clip thing, I think I knocked it onto something, it just fell into the pond.
Because I've got a little clip on mine, but
Yeah.
how is yours on?
It's just attached to a step-down ring,
Oh,
and then it screws onto the thread on the lens.
Oh, okay, nice.
So it's just secure, and it's obviously it's a bit more annoying if you are taking it on and off again, because like we said, I don't really take it off.
It's a lot more secure than that.
Yeah.
And also then you don't get this and the reflection
Exactly.
of
Yeah,
shots.
because you do see that, don't you?
Sometimes when I take a shot of a spider, you get this nice sort of white bit in the side, but I get these two little leaves on there.
Yeah, and you don't get that on here.
And diffuser, you've got a newer diffuser.
Yeah, I've only been using it for, well, this year, and it's made by my good friend Jason.
That's Jason Ogborn.
Yep, on Instagram.
Find him on Instagram.
Very good photographer. And he made this. I think this is like one of his first versions. It's based on another diffuser by Flow.
Yeah.
You know, Macro Flow.
Yeah.
And yeah, I wanted to try it out, give it a go, and it's done me well so far.
Nice.
Yeah, I really like it.
So on mine, I'm using the Cygnus Tech diffuser, which I got from Brendan in Australia. I only got that this year, and it's been fantastic for me.
It's a really good diffuser. I mean, I've seen some amazing results with it, yours included.
It's really nice easy to fold down as well. So that's the gear that we're using. I would normally use my Canon 5D, but that is recording today, so I'm using the backup camera from Cat, but it's not working very well at the moment. But it's a perfect example of me being like, oh, I'm going to use a not so good camera, but then Luke's getting all the results with his camera. So really, I've got nothing to really complain about. Shall we find something to shoot?
Yeah, let's go.
All right, let's go for a little walk. So we've been told around this area that if we're lucky, we might find a heather crab spider.
Yeah, I mean, this is where I found one last year. It was like just between those trees, actually. Watch out! Oh, what have we got there?
Another.
It's a long-jawed orb weaver.
And it's got a little bit of prey on there as well. A very mildewy prey.
Yeah, it's a lacewing. That. It's a green lacewing.
Nice.
I mean, I can see the heather there, and that's what I tend to gravitate to in locations like this.
Let's go towards some heather then.
But obviously, we might see some lynx spiders on the way, hopefully. So hopefully a bit of burst fire has allowed me to get a photo there.
This is the labyrinth spider?
Yeah.
So you've never got one of these?
No. I've tried, but they're very reactive to sort of any
movement.
Yeah, any movement near the web and stuff like that, they tend to just disappear back in. But this one's actually quite chilled out. I'm not sure if it's because it's still quite cool in the morning. Yeah, it could be.
So a great thing with macro, to go out with another person, what I'm doing now is I'm actually providing shadow onto the subject, onto the spider for Luke, so that all of the light he puts onto the subject comes from the flash and not from the sun, because the sun is obviously a lot more powerful, so you'll get really nasty sort of highlight blows and stuff by having there. So you ideally want to be shooting in the shadow.
Yeah. I mean, normally, if I'm on my own, that's where I tend to get a burnt neck, because I tend to be back towards the sun all the time. Yeah. Because obviously I'm casting my own shadow onto the subject, so you don't get, like you said, those horrible glares, which do tend to make quite a awful looking photo.
Yeah.
Depends on the subject, it can work. I mean, I've seen natural light photos with pretty harsh light on butterflies and stuff like that, and it can look fine. But anything with sort of any level of reflective surface on it, it kind of just ruins it, to be honest.
And that's the whole point of the diffuser, is to balance the light as much as possible, so that the difference between the highlights and the shadows is really minimal, and we get a really sort of balanced distribution of light.
Absolutely.
So that the diffusers, a lot of people ask me about stuff about macro, and diffusers are definitely one of the main keys for getting those really high-end shots, for sure.
Yeah, it changes everything. It really does.
I've got the tiniest little spider here.
What is it?
A cool little crab spider. It's about as big as half a flower of a heather. Just below this here, on the underside of that, tiny little spider.
Jesus, that is it.
Oh really?
It's not an adult, but that's one.
I wondered if it might be.
Yeah, you found one already.
Cool, so that's a juvenile.
Yeah. It might even be a juvenile male,
Okay.
potentially. Ooh,
What you found?
a Varchu acuata.
Oh
Jumping
really?
spider.
Nice.
Just mooching about.
Little jumping spider.
It's an adult male as well. See him?
So, can you explain how you tell the difference between a male and a female?
For the most part with jumping spiders, because I find it very difficult, because normally with spiders, you look at their palps, their pedipalps, they have different shapes and sizes.
Yeah, which is the front two little bits in front of their face.
But with jumping spiders, I find it very difficult because you can't really see the shape as well, so they tend to be fluffy. But the males and females tend to look really different, like quite different.
They can be dimorphic.
That's the one, yeah, sexual dimorphic. Still looking for crab spiders, but
Yeah.
and at least I know where roughly that is. So when I found my very first, you know, the one that actually got me the award, that photo?
Yeah, I was showing these two yesterday.
That
Had their minds blown.
That one took me and John, because you met John, haven't you?
Yeah.
We were out for 3 days down in Dorset, in heat like this, searching hundreds and hundreds of patches of heather.
Yeah.
Like, must have been at least sort of pure 16 hours worth of looking for this one spider. And then we found it on the last day. Yeah, Dorset is tend to be where I find them. But obviously here last year is where I found that. You know, the one what sat on the egg sac?
Yes.
That
yeah,
one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're two crazy shots. I was saying to these guys earlier that, I mean, it was probably that shot and a couple of others that was getting me a bit horny for macro last year.
Yeah.
And I was like, I think that I didn't know that we had a pink spider. I couldn't believe it when,
Crazy, innit?
when I saw the photo of it. I was like, how is this wildlife existing in the UK? And I think I started following you off the back of that. And all the other photos, I was just like, oh my God, there's so much cool stuff. I need to start.
It is surprising, isn't it? Like, I think most people are quite surprised by a lot of the wildlife we have. You know, like the nomad bees and stuff like that.
Also my favourites as well.
Yeah, they look crazy. They just don't look like anything you'd expect to see. And like I say, especially the pink spider. I mean, I learned about that when I was younger, but never thought I'd actually see it, ever.
Because, I mean, a lot of macro can just be basically just sitting in one place for an hour. Like when we found the V. insignatus spider last time, we were on our hands and knees there for, 2-3 hours for the day.
Yeah.
And then we found it in the end. Oh, no, sorry, no, that wasn't that one. That was...
Saltiter. Saltiter?
Yes.
Atulus saltiter. And you've seen V. insignatus here.
And
I haven't.
Not
here.
It was in the same patch.
Yeah. Just found this Varchu species on my leg. It's a female. I'm not sure if it's acuata or falcata, probably acuata if I'm honest. But in moments like this, when I've got a spider that's out of its habitat, it's on it was on my leg, now in my hand. You know, I will try and sort of, in a sense, stage a photo. Now I don't tend to stage photos very often, but you know, in moments like this, I'll try and grab something for her to stand on, and then get a photo of her.
But let's put her in the heather and let's stage a shot then.
Yeah. So you've got to be mindful, you don't want to stress them out too much. If they appear to be getting stressed out, just give up and return them. So now she's on the heather. And these are where your handheld, one-handed skills come into play.
So this is a very sort of standard macro shot,
Yeah.
holding on to something using your hands, and as he gets a little bit closer, what he's going to do is probably steady his hand somewhere on the lens.
That's what I normally would do.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right. I can try that. Actually, if I get a bit higher magnification, because she seems pretty chilled right now. I'm obviously going to go for a focus stack, even though I hate focus stacking.
So a lot of people talk to me about focus stacking, so you can see basically what Luke's doing now. We're talking about tiny little areas of focus for this, like well less than a millimetre.
Yeah.
And you're just basically pushing through the photo and getting all the flashes on there, and then post-production going to blend them all together in whatever software you choose. But you don't really like doing it, do you?
I absolutely hate it. It takes me too long to do it. I do it on Photoshop. It's not the best software to do it on, but I find myself going for a stack every single time. So
Jason once said to me, once you stack, you can't go back.
yeah.
There is something about it, just the depth of field is so shallow at this sort of high magnification that you really just, even if you get like a 2 or 3 or a 4
Absolutely.
stack, it makes so much difference.
Yeah.
So reasonably common, but we found a pretty cool spider here, which Luke quite likes as well.
One of my favourites, without a doubt. This is Pisora mirabilis, or nursery web spider. And this, what we've got here, is basically where they get the name from. So the nursery web spider part is because she's built a nursery for her babies, which she will then defend. So during, I don't know what you call it, but basically she carries her egg sac around for a while and then builds a nursery, puts the egg sac inside, and then stands guard for a while until the babies, which are actually in here.
Yeah,
there's a lot of them as well.
There's hundreds in there.
Yeah, and she's there, look. And she'll stay with them for, I forgot how long, but until they're sort of ready to disperse, they will then go off on their own. And I'm assuming she does as well.
That's why spiders are the coolest, hey? It's such a crazy cool thing to see.
Well, I mean, you know, a lot of people don't like spiders, yet they have some seriously strong maternal instincts. Like, she carries the eggs around with her, builds a nursery, and there's ones what, like, even let the babies eat them. They
sacrifice themselves.
Yeah, they sacrifice themselves to feed their young on their own body. I mean, it's pretty gruesome, but that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, spiders have definitely been one of the things that I've loved most about the macro, finding out that we have sort of more than 200 species of spider, and
it's ridiculous.
And all of the different stuff they do. They can change colour. The crab spiders change colour. The flower crab spiders change colour.
Yeah, she's like I said, a beautiful spider. I think one of my best photos I've got, and I've tried to recreate since it, and it was within the first year of out of my camera, is a female with the egg sac carrying it below her.
I was thinking
I've tried to recreate it, and I have got them. I just haven't processed them yet, as usual with all my photos. But I still don't think it'll be quite as good as that first time. Do you know what I mean?
Here we have a little harvestman, and if you can get that out.
Oh yeah. It's a weird looking thing.
So really cool creature here. This is what a lot of people do think is a spider and confused with a spider, but it's not a spider, although it is in the arachnid family. It's actually called a harvestman, and they're super cool. They have these really like tall periscope eyes on the top of their head.
There's 2 of them as well, which makes them look very alien.
So, what's been your best macro encounter?
A couple definitely come to mind. One is definitely with the spider that we're looking for today, the Thomisus anostus.
When you're in Dorset?
Yeah, in Dorset, when I'd spend, this was a different time, not with John, I was on my own. I'd spend at least 8 hours in the baking sun, searching the heather.
Today.
Yeah, a bit like today.
Very hot today.
Searching the heather as we are today. and I just could not find any at all. And then there was this one big patch of rhododendron in the middle of the heather, with big pink flowers. And obviously, that's not their habitat. So I didn't think to check it, but I did, and there she was. A big adult female sat in the middle of the flower with a hoverfly. And that was just one of those moments when I was just elated.
Nice.
And it was just like, that intense day of what I thought was going to be quite disappointing turned out to be amazing because that one moment.
It just takes one, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's
really
it. You only need one. You only need one, and that's your day made. And then I think another one would be the robberflies, the hornet robberflies.
Oh yeah, they're awesome.
Yeah.
I've only seen one robberfly. I got a photo of it the other day, but it was just I don't know what your bang average robberfly's called.
Yeah, I mean the hornet robberflies are here, but that's something I looked for years, and I found a spot local to me where I saw several, and that was a moment aside from running away from the horses all day because they freaked me out, and also elbows deep in horse poo, but it was certainly worth it because I got some good photos of hornet robberfly.
So I said I was going to ask you a couple of questions, or at least I put a message on my story for people to ask you a couple of questions. Dom Yellowsock, Dominique, she asked what was the most frustrating part of macro photography?
I mean, out in the field, I'd have thought it's quite frustrating if you're trying to find a subject and you don't find them. Like we're having that sort of issue today with the crab spider. That can be frustrating, but you always tend to get something, so it doesn't matter too much. But I think the most frustrating part for me is definitely the processing side of it. As people on Instagram know, that I always complain about stacking and stuff like that. Yeah, I always go for the stacks anyway. It bores me. It really bores me. Like, the processing side of things bores me, although I like the outcome, of course, but yeah, it bores me. I don't have time for it.
See, it's funny, I really love, the processing for me is almost better than the subject. Like, I love being out here, but if I get the photo, for me it's like almost like a canvas, and I can't wait. Can't wait. Sometimes I'm thinking, oh, is that good, is it not good? But I know if I get it into processing, I can do some sharpening.
That's true.
I can recover some shadows. I can make sort of the colours pop a little bit more. So when I take that first photo, for me it's like, oh, I don't know if it's going to be good or not.
Oh, okay.
When I get into processing, it's like, okay, now I can get creative.
Yeah, you can actually make it.
But sometimes I can spend 2-3 hours and I'm like,
why did I do that? Yeah, why did I just spend that time
I'm just going to waste that away.
Yeah.
But sometimes you get something really great, and I love that. I think that's where I differ from a lot of photographers. A lot of photographers don't like that part, and for me, I really, really enjoy it.
Yeah, I wish I enjoyed it more, and I do sometimes if it doesn't take me too long. But like I said, because I always tend to go for stacks now, I don't like it. but
your computer's probably a bit slow as well.
It's terrible. It's terrible. No offence, because it's not mine, but so I can't complain too much. But yeah, it's very slow. So then everything takes a lot longer, which can be, like I said, frustrating. Definitely.
Well, it is 11:15. I feel like it's probably the hottest day of the year.
It's boiling, mate.
So I think maybe we'll sit in the shade and just ask a couple of questions. Yeah.
Cool.
All right, let's do that. Bit better here.
Yeah. Nice and cool.
Not quite as hot. So another question from John All Seasons Macro.
Yeah.
He asked you, do you actively keep a list of the species you've seen, and if so, any targets that you'd also like to hit?
I don't really keep a list, no. Oh, well, I do in my mind, I suppose. I recognise things I've seen before, and often, if I have and I'm happy with the photos I've already got, I won't even bother photographing them, unless it's certain species. I mean, I keep referring back to it, but the crab spider that we're looking for, I'll always take a photo. If I see one, I'm not going to say no to it. And like I said, there's certain subjects you're always going to get and always going to want to photograph. But no, I don't keep a list.
You kind of use your things like the places that you post photos, like Instagram, as kind of your library.
Yeah, that's exactly
like an extension of your mind. Sometimes you flick through and like, oh, I forgot I did that.
Exactly that. Yeah. You certainly refer back to things like, I'm pretty sure I've seen that before, and then sometimes I use that as getting my own IDs because I can't bother to look for it again. So I've seen it before. But there's certainly stuff I want to find. Yeah,
What's
absolutely.
sort of top of your list then?
There's a couple of rare species of spider in the UK that I'd love to see. There's something called a common name strawberry spider. It's an orb weaver, and it's ridiculous. Like,
that wasn't one that was posted on the group recently?
No. I don't think I've ever seen a photo of it.
No?
Like on that group. Yeah, it's really rare.
Is it more rare than the ladybird spider?
Maybe not quite as.
Okay.
But it's certainly like that. Yeah. But it's bright red. The abdomen looks like a strawberry.
Oh wow.
With little dots on it and everything. I'd love to find that. There's a couple of jumping spiders I'd like to see as well.
Do you know the Latin name for the strawberry spider?
No.
When I first met Luke, we came here, and there's a guy that has been very helpful to us here, a guy called Darren, the ranger. He has spotted and logged and reported loads of spider sightings, which has helped us find them. He's an absolute legend, and he's a bit of a spider file as well. And I came just kind of starting into macro, and Luke and Darren were just going full on Latin names. Oh, Insignis gibberosa, blah blah blah, and I had no idea what's going on. And now I get like half of the species that are being talked about. Oh that one. No.
There's only a few that I actually know off my head. I think it's something like Aranius asp something or other. But it's gorgeous, and I really want to find it. But I've had no luck at all. And I want to see the Green Huntsman again, even though I've already seen it. That's still quite high on my list because...
There's a story behind that. That's the one you travelled really far for as well. Was that Dorset as well?
It was Dorset again, but even further than like on. It was quite a distance.
And you went just for that spider?
Just for that spider.
And did it take you all day to find it?
No. Because the lady who posted it on Facebook, she pretty much gave me the exact pinpoint location where she found one. And it actually was protecting eggs as well. So it weren't going anywhere.
So that's really
And I think I went the next day. Like, I don't tend to hang around with stuff like that.
No.
And this was pre-baby as well. So, you know.
Pre-baby
life. So yeah, I went straight down there, and I want to go back there again this year, but you know, it's whether I find the time. But that were a wonderful place. But like I said, that's still quite high on my list because I think I could do better. And I think that's with me and some of the target species that I've already seen, they're still high on my list because I think I can do better. Same with the hornet robber fly once again.
Yeah, you don't always get the opportunity to get that perfect photo.
No.
Even with the heather crab that you've got, you know, an award-winning shot.
Yeah, I love that one. I love
there's
the other
loads of other compositions you can do.
Yeah, I want to see it like actually, you know, waiting in ambush on a flower. I've never seen that before. Like as an adult one anyway. I've never actually seen that.
Or hunting or something like
that. Yeah,
Or
exactly.
prey in its mouth.
Yeah, there's loads of stuff I want to find, but it's just
anything not spider-wise? Anything?
I always tend to go for spiders, don't I?
This has been a bit of a spider day. It wasn't going to be a spider day. But...
The ruby-tailed wasps. I mean, I've got one good photo of them, and I found one half asleep. Them, I really want to find them again. More of them.
Is that the
tiny little green and red ones?
Oh, the what? Is it a coiled up one that you have?
Yeah, with a beautiful background.
Yeah.
That's one of my best photos to date, I think. To be honest, I really love it. But once again, I feel like I could, if I found another one, I could potentially get better.
You see? Was it a different wasp that you saw? You posted on your story.
Yeah.
Was it that one?
It was the same type as wasp. Yeah. It was a different. That's a bigger one. That one that I saw.
But you didn't have your camera on you. That's one I really want. Is that a cuckoo?
Yeah, cuckoo wasp or ruby-tailed wasp. Same thing.
Cool.
I took Eli out in the pram, but as much as I want to take my camera at the same time, I can't. I feel like it's
you just wait there,
irresponsible parenting.
I'm just going to look at this like 2-inch square for the next 10 minutes. You'll be fine.
Yeah, just leave an 8-month-old baby in the pram on his own, I think, is questionable. So I haven't done it yet, and I do not advocate it.
No.
Don't leave your baby to take photos. But no, the list is endless, really. You know, there's even some very normal flies that I really want to find. Just like some beautiful tachinid flies and hoverflies as well. There's some species of those that I'd really love to see. It's just some of them are out there, and there's a robber fly. The bum, I think it's a I think they call it a bumblebee hoverfly. Sorry, robberfly. And it's only in Scotland.
Oh, really?
Yeah, only in one place in Scotland. And I will go to see it, or try to see it, but that's a long journey.
Yeah, I'm actually going to Scotland at the time of this recording next month.
Oh, really?
But it'll be mostly landscape and maybe some wildlife. I will have the macro gear, but I don't know if it'll come out too much. But if I see something like that,
if you see it, you better take a photo of it. It's a beast as well. It's a proper beast.
Right, Luke, it's been the end of a very long and very hot day. We've taken some shelter in the shade because it is just far too much now.
Extremely hot.
Yeah.
Extremely hot.
Unfortunately, didn't find the pink crab spider, but better luck next time.
Yeah.
Did find some really cool stuff though. Hopefully, some good images to share.
I think so.
And hopefully, some good footage too.
Yeah.
Thanks, mate.
You're very welcome.
Really
man.
appreciate it.
It's been a pleasure.
Thanks for coming, and hopefully do some more of these with some different areas of photography soon. Thanks for watching.
Thank you.